Chalo. Hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us who indeed is a very interesting personality. His name is Iftikhar Mohammed Zia, who is the founder at Possibilities, Director for Diversity and Inclusion at RAPO, and mainly loves volunteering in rare diseases and disorders segment. So we welcome you here today, sir. Our aim here today is to create awareness about how parents who have special kids take care of their sons and daughters and their journey into making them successful and incredible people. So, my first question to you, sir, is can you tell us a little bit about your son Zoeb and his journey?
Okay, my son's name is Zoeb Mohammed Zia.
Mm-hmm.
He's 28 years old now and currently works as an assistant professor of zoology in a college in Chennai. He has a rare neuro condition called ataxia. This mainly affects the gait movement, causes poor coordination of limbs, and slurs the speech. He needs assistance to walk, and at times he uses wheelchair wherever there is a wheelchair access and provision available.
Oh, so so is there a creative? Is there like enough awareness about this disease because you told us it's a very rare one?
See, actually, the idea was the first year we both went around researching ourselves, searching ourselves, and we just had a name to search with, and then there weren't many people with this particular disorder, and there wasn't much awareness on it. So the first year was a major struggle for both of us, trying to understand what it is, and because the name itself was new when it was told to us that this is what he has. And the after that only, I started kind of volunteering to spread awareness on this rare disease. This is about 10, this is about 12 years back. So today there is a lot of awareness on rare diseases, and there are a lot of groups and a lot of research happening and all that. But unfortunately, when it's a rare disorder, you normally don't get a cure soon. So you can only learn to live with it, and you can have support groups, help groups. That's the kind of a thing what you can build around a rare disease community. So that was the reason why I entered into volunteering for rare disease, and then slowly I started getting involved in all the other disabilities segments. So my main agenda has always been to create awareness. That's the agenda I work on.
That's amazing, sir. That's actually amazing. We sometimes like even I get told by a lot of our elders that you don't realize what how much you have and what you are having a privileged life when you see somebody who doesn't have that kind of life. And at the same time, when you are living that life, you get into all these things like like you said, you went into rare diseases, you are into volunteering, you are into doing this and that. So that is when you do it by yourself without somebody telling you to do it. So that
Yeah,
is
see,
a
the
very
point here is well, like going with your flow of thought is most of the time we take things for granted, and we assume that it is our right to have the vision and the speech and everything. We assume that by birth we need to have it as a right for us, and anybody who's not having one of those things is considered to be out of the bracket kind of stuff. And what happens in this particular segment is, if you work with this segment, you'll realize that not many come forward. Not many come forward to talk about it, and not many get involved in it. It is a very small percentage of people who really struggle to perform, and it is also a very small percentage of parents who get involved in it totally, and take it in the stride and take it along. So the whole idea is, we need to create an awareness. We need to bring out a lot of more performing people. The point here again, what happens is in this particular segment, there's a comparison which starts. Ye kar sakta hai, why can't you do? That kind of things it starts, and
that sounds so wrong, sir.
it
It's not.
sounds very wrong. It sounds very wrong, but everything has a little bit of a negative. Aspects around it. So there's a question of privilege which starts coming in. We start talking about you had good parents, you had good family, you had good support. So whatever the achievement a person has done because of his individual capacity, that gets sidelined by saying that you had good parents, so it makes not yeah, so that becomes a little bit of a tricky thing when you that's why that's one of the reasons why the parents also are not very vocal about talking about whatever they have gone through or how they have gone through and all that. अभी अभी
Okay.
जो अभी जो लोग जो बोल रहे हैं ना कि you're trying to hype up things, you're trying to become an inspirational person, you're becoming a motivational person. See, the persons themselves, they're saying we don't want to be an inspiring person. We don't want to be a motivational person. We just want to lead our lives. That's it they're asking for.
Hmm.
They aren't asking for too much of your space. They're just saying, give us our level of working. We'll do our work and we'll keep moving. But then
Hmm.
suddenly you take them onto the pedestal, you take them to the stage, and you make them inspiring persons. That also people don't like.
Hmm. Very true. So my next question to you is: you just mentioned how society is a little reluctant. So what difficulties on a societal level do you and your son faces when it comes to a kid or a child who has special needs?
See, we have come across varying and various levels of behaviors. We have come across over a period of time. We have seen total acceptance to total rejection. We have seen sympathy to empathy. It's all on different varying levels. Now, my son was a normal person till he was in his 11th standard. And then he developed this genetic disorder.
Oh, so he
So for
wasn't
us,
born with it?
no, he was a normal kid till he was in his 11th standard.
Okay.
It was in 12th standard when life changed for him.
Hmm.
So we faced a different scenario. We were faced with there were a lot of pity for us, and there were a lot of advices given to us which were of absolutely no use, and we were discouraged at many times. And yes, we also saw some gentle nudges and encouragements to keep moving. In fact, we continued to see more pity than help, because it's very
Hmm.
easy to pity someone than help someone.
Hmm.
And at a stage when hand holding is needed, you it has to be hand holding only. You don't survive on advices and pleasantries and philosophies and psychologies and all that. Basic thing is, somebody is reaching out, he needs his hand to be held to cross the road. You need to do that. So you can't stand there and tell somebody everything is going to be all right, don't worry, sab theek ho jayega. No, you can't move on those kind of words. So when you need a shoulder, you need a shoulder. When you need a hand, you need a hand. It's basic things like that, which the society is little difficult to understand or comprehend. It works two ways. One is, you do not know whether the person needs help,
Hmm.
because if you come across and say, can I take you, the person may say, I can manage myself.
Hmm.
So it's a two-way process. Both
Hmm.
the persons and the society, they have to understand each other. They have to realize that yes, this guy is either having some problem and he needs help, or you can find out that this guy is able to handle himself. So you need to study all those things, because the for a normal person also, suddenly somebody barges in and gives you something. If your mood is right, you're happy that somebody is coming forward. If your mood is not right, what do you say? I can take care of myself, I don't need your assistance, you'll say. Same applies to them also. They also need their level of independence, and they need their privacy or thought process, everything. So we continue to see more pity than help. We saw every time, oh, "Arey, kya ho gaya? Arey, kya ho gaya? How did this happen? How did this happen?" So we came to a stage where we're not able to talk to people also, because unfortunately what we were having was a rare condition.
Hmm.
So if I tell somebody my son has got ataxia, they think I have conjured up some name or something, and then I'm throwing out something kind of stuff. And unfortunately, a year went for us just going around tests. We traveled all over India looking for tests and all that. At that time, there weren't many tests available, and nobody was. You had a name, but how to get it confirmed was a difficult scenario. So we saw people. We have seen people turning away from us. People just avoiding us. and we have come across people who have discouraged us. But then at the same time, we are grateful that we had people who were also encouraging us. And you see, the main thing is the society, unfortunately, still believes that things are not achievable by those who are having disabilities or who are facing challenge. It's a myth they have that once you have a disability, you cannot perform kind of stuff. It doesn't things work don't work that way. And the encouragement and the gentle push which comes is mainly from people who are aware of disabilities, people who are aware of challenges faced by uh, people who have disabilities. Or normally you will find this coming from people who are either connected with this segment or working in this segment. They are the people who will come forward and encourage you and help you and guide you and all that. So you need to be connected with this segment. You need to know about this segment. And that is the main reason why we are working on to create awareness. Even a little bit of awareness, if you can find out if somebody is there, there's definitely somebody in your own street, there's definitely somebody in your own housing society, but you haven't looked at it that way. You've just seen that fellow and then walked away. You have never understood what the life he leads.
Okay,
That's
sir.
it.
So my next question is: we at Dorai have been taught not to treat anyone differently, be it male or female, child or adult, disabled or not disabled. So do you agree with this, that everybody should be given a common platform? Because nowadays equality, feminism, things like that are being said a lot, but they are not being given even enough justice or not applied in the way they should be applied. So in the same way, do you think treating differently or treating equally, what should be the way about when it comes to things like this?
See, that should be the main goal and target. Everyone should be included and everyone should be treated equally. That's the main purpose and that the should be main goal. But
Hmm.
what is necessary is first to create equal platforms.
Hmm.
You create level playing fields so that everyone is included.
Hmm.
You cannot use one yardstick, the same yardstick, to measure and plan for treating everybody equally. Everybody is going to come with their own uh, positives and negatives, pluses and minuses. They are going to come in a different sizes and shapes. They are going to come. So you need to create an equal platform. You need to create. See, it's like sorry, inviting everyone for a party. It's a great idea. You're including everybody.
Hmm.
But then, if you find some people sitting in a corner separately and eating, or sitting outside and eating,
Hmm.
just because they could not enter the venue or there were no provisions made at the venue, the
Hmm.
whole purpose is lost.
Hmm.
So, you haven't created equality over there. You have just done a part of it, invited everybody, but you have not made provisions for them to sit along with everybody and eat. There's a that story of that fox and crane, which is usually told as a joke,
Hmm.
where the fox invites the crane for dinner and places the food in a flat plate.
Yeah.
The crane is unable to eat, and then the crane invites the fox and serves it in a long necked jug where the fox cannot eat. So the simple moral is there's no proper planning. That story is like a joke, but then the idea is there's no proper planning. You haven't designed for every invitee of yours. You have assumed, see, there's going to be only 4 or 5% is what we target as the persons of disabilities or whatever is the thing. So it's just going to take a little bit of a planning for you to provide an extra table or mix an extra provision, a little ramp over there, or a shorter table. See, there was one thing which I came across. It's a superstore where there was a dwarf who used to go for shopping,
Hmm.
and the shopkeepers noticed that the guy was struggling to handle the shopping cart. He was finding it very difficult. And after a week or something, when this guy goes back to the shop, he saw one cart which was designed for him and kept. Now that is inclusion. So a person just sees, you don't even ask them, what do you need? The moment you look at them, you realize that this guy is going to need this particular thing to make his life easy. So you simply provide that in the corner, the guy will come, he'll just keep doing his work.
Hmm.
So that is how we need to create equality.
Hmm. It's very, very wise wording, sir. Very wise words. Sir, let's get a little personal now. What is your child and yours favorite activity to do together? Like something you guys enjoy doing together?
Together, see,
Yeah.
he's a grown up guy now. So he's mainly a foodie, a gamer, a video gamer. He is.
Mm-hmm.
He watches sports and movies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He has his friends and cousins with whom he used to go around to for movies and malls and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
But from the period of lockdown, there's not much activity. He's
Mm-hmm.
concentrating more on his education.
Mm-hmm.
He has various interests. He has. Yesterday we were in an adventure trip. He went paragliding. He went
Really?
paramotoring.
Oh my
Paramotoring, or
god, that
what
has
is it?
always been something I've wanted to do. Oh my
No,
god.
it's a paramotoring or what, I don't know, where he sits with somebody and then flies.
Oh my
It's
god.
been we've been wanting to do it for a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
then yesterday we got that slot with that guy, because I was also taking a little bit of a precaution because of the risk factors.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a swimmer. He was a very good
Oh.
swimmer before. No, he was a very athletic guy. He was.
Mm.
He was into gymnastics, and he was a football fan. He was used to play. Then he was a swimmer. Then that slowly, the swimming part of it, he still gets into when assisted thing is there. But we don't have much facilities to safely take him into the waters,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to somebody has to assist him to get inside the water. After that, he swims.
Mm.
So there are other things which, when it was the initial stage, the first year or the second year is when we kind of worked together, or we were close to each other and planning and all that. But then the growing up guy, so he
Mm.
has his set of friends, and he has his interests and all that. So not much which we do together apart from fighting and
So you should watch movies together. That is one suggestion from
and
me,
the
my end to
problem
you.
is the problem is I'm not a movie guy.
Hmm.
So he watches his movies. He's full time onto. He's kind of a critic also. He'll write critics on the movies and all that.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
That's
mm.
interesting.
So video games also are something which I'm not much into it. So he
Mm.
kind of plays that, and I think there is that network gaming is there. Wherein you go to the web and sign up with other players and play online
Online
or
gaming.
something. Yeah,
Online.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that he's got a set with whom he sits and plays.
Okay, sir. So my next question to you is, what is one of the most rewarding aspects or learnings that you have learned from your son? Something that he teaches you.
Mm, what the learning from him, in fact, I have learned a lot from him. In fact,
Hmm.
I have learned a lot. I have to give him that thing, because the amount of patience and all that I learned basically from him. That's a major learning for me, because I was in a totally different field of work
Hmm.
when he was in his regular schooling. I was handling a kind of a high pressured job. I was in a garment manufacturing industry. So I was handling factories and workmen and all that. So my level of patience and my level of that fine tuning and monitoring and all that, when you get into a factory setting, and when you you always think of timing and scheduling, and you assume everything is going like a factory setting it goes. But then when things developed for him, uh, I slowly started realizing that you need to get to have some patience, and patience in the sense I wasn't an angry guy or something, but
Hmm.
then perfection and timing and all that kind of things. I realized that those things don't work. Sometimes you need to take it in the flow. So
Hmm.
that's patience part of it is something which I learned from him. There was a brief moment. during the difficult times when we faced, when he suggested that he would like to drop out of school.
Hmm.
So we went through a very small phase where he was wanting to leave school. But God's grace, he soon realized the value of education and the opportunities which could come along with it. I did guide and help him during the initial struggling times,
Hmm.
but it was his own interest and desire to continue his education in the field of his interest. Apart from his regular college degrees, uh, he did a BSc in psychology via correspondence also, and he developed an interest in teaching as a profession. That was, I think, when he was in his MSc, he developed an interest for teaching, and he appeared for a state level eligibility test. He
Hmm.
cleared it, and
Oh,
then when there was an opening in his own department, he applied and he got placed. So now for the past 5 years, he's working as an assistant professor.
oh my God, that's
Yeah,
amazing and impressive, sir. Really impressive.
yeah. His plans for his PhD got delayed because of the lockdown. 2 years he lost because of that. Because 2019 itself, he was planning to start his uh, PhD, and he had actually signed up with the Madras University also. But
Hmm.
then 2020, the lockdown started, and he lost 2 years. Now he's planning to start it this year.
Hmm.
His uh, his acceptance of the problem, what he faces,
Hmm.
and his will to keep moving forward. These have been some of the major learnings for me.
That's so sweet, sir. That's so sweet. Sir, let's get around to a little like the end segment. And I have two questions for you. One, when it comes to kids who have Down syndrome or learning like slow learners, a teacher plays a very important role for them. But obviously, Zoeb is not like that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming he has support groups that work for him in a way that can help him like a way a teacher does. So you get that emotional kind of connect with support groups. So do you think that having a support group is very important?
Yeah, there is. See, the support group is very important, but the point is, you need to develop a, a group of their own age. That is very important. It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is very important. That is, that is where the friends are the big are part of your life. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't underwrite or overlook the role. See, the learning disability and the intellectual disabilities are different things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The point is, a person when is disabled, it's not necessarily disabled. So we are again secluding them by talking about a disability or a non-disabled person or a normal person. Anybody going through a difficult situation,
Mm-hmm.
they need support. They need to talk to somebody. They need to vent out or seek advice or help or take some guidance. This is applicable to everybody. It is not necessarily a person with a disability. So here, what happens is once a person is disabled, we assume that he's going to have certain things which are going to become difficult for him or not reachable for him or her and all
Mm-hmm.
that. But that is our perception. We are one point which I used to tell others is, was this is going to apply to everybody. If not today, tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to be old. Tomorrow you're going to be old. You're not going to be in a position to climb stairs. So today you've got the strength. So
Mm-hmm.
work for it, work towards it. Your eyesight is also going to get bad after some time. So please understand what a visually challenged person goes through. Your
Mm-hmm.
hearing is going to get affected after some time. So don't take things for granted. You need the support groups. What happens is, if you see, when I started this about after a year of going through all my struggles, I also started attending these networking groups and support groups and families and all that, basically to understand how the families are coping up with it.
Hmm.
I also wanted to understand how is a person going to be, he's going to be introduced. How are the parents bringing the children out? Are the children coming out of their own will, or are they being dragged out? See, it's just for me to be included. I can't drag my son and go. He's got his privacy. If he says, I'm not coming for this function, yes, he's not coming for the function. I can't drag him and go saying that I want you to introduce people. Don't do that also. Some parents do that. They drag the children and come. That's also wrong. So they have got, we see there are two situations over here. One is the children are looking at you and finding out whether you have accepted them or not. That's very important. Now,
Yes.
if you start avoiding taking them to the functions, get togethers, or you're hesitant to introduce them to your other colleagues or your friends and all that, you're giving a wrong signal to them. So the support groups is when it's a safe territory. It's a safe territory. So I would actually advise everybody to network, get together, meet other parents. You might find varying various types of disabilities people there. So there are some real fun groups there where you go, you see parents, they're having a child with a different disability. They are happy, they're mingling, they're talking with people, they're helping people and all that. No? So if you are a little bit hesitant, you will get a little bit of encouragement to get involved in that activity. See, one of the places where this Dr. Sumitra, I have to say a fantastic thing to her and her team. It's a fun place. It is. You believe me or not, whether you have a disability, no disability, you have a problem, no problem, you just drop in over there. You're going to have. You can be assured of 1 hour or 2 hour of real fun over there. Okay, you forget all your worries. You forget all your worries. Have fun with those guys and come back. Think about it later. Don't see everything. You need not sit and discuss and get a solution immediately. Some things may come later. So you start the process. So start networking, get into social groups, get into, if you want to be a little private about it, select a few people and then talk to them. But main thing is the support groups and all that. It's good for the parents and for the children also. But you'll have to work on seeing to it that your kid is moving around in his friend circle. That is the most important thing, because that is where they talk, that is where they are free. As a parent, I have my limits to what I can talk to, and he also has his limits to what he can talk to. So with his peer group, yes, he'll freely discuss. He'll discuss about his happiness. He'll discuss about his joys. So that we need to work on.
Okay, sir. So, last question to you is, to all those parents who are still young and still learning on how to nurture a child with special needs, do you have any tips or recommendations or suggestions would you like to give them about how to take care of a child? Because not everybody, like in your case, it didn't happen at birth; it happened later on. So you would have like appreciate a little advice, because on an emotional level, you not able to understand the child. You don't know how to deal with. I don't. You don't know how to talk to him sometimes. So, what suggestion would you like to give to those parents?
See, luckily, for me, I have had a very good relationship with my son and my daughter right from childhood. So there was a brief gap which came in that year when he was going through that troubled times. uh, it was expected, because anybody who's going through a difficult situation will definitely want to cut away all the things, because that is when the walling up starts. That is the first thing which a person has to notice. Let it be a parent or let it be your friend, you can sense the walling up beginning. You realize that a person is trying to wall himself away, making say isolation cell for himself. That's the first point you need to look out for. A person who's been jovial, who's been playing, who's got a lot of friends. Suddenly, if you find his friends' uh, numbers coming down, you see him not partying, you see him not going for his regular fun and all that. That's the alerts you need to look out for. Now, this is applicable for people like me who have seen it at a later stage. By birth, it's a different scenario. So you realize this from beginning itself. But in my case, I started seeing this at a later stage. I started giving up. So what worked for me may not work for others. There's no one size fit for everybody. My simple advices would be, simple basic ones would be, don't give up. Don't give up. You never know what your child can achieve, because we assume that everything is going as per a standard route. Like, everybody assumes the bright child will be a school topper, when he enters college life and he's a university topper. Things don't go in that order for everyone. But that's what everybody assume, that yes, my child is going to the school, he's going to be a topper, and he's going to be becomes an MBBS or engineer or whatever kind of stuff. We have already planned till you get your grandchildren, you plan your life the moment the child is born. That things don't work that way. There are going to be a little bit of challenges here and there. If one or a couple of things become difficult to achieve for the children because of some difficulties, my suggestion would be to please spend some time exploring areas in which the children can perform. Try to focus more on their abilities. See what is it they had choices before certain thing, like an accident happening or something, god forsaken, happening, that the child gets into some kind of a disability. Find out what is the areas which they can perform. Concentrate more on their abilities rather than the disability which has cropped up. This disability is every time going to come and stand in front of you. If you start looking at it that way, you're not going to move ahead at all. Because whatever you say, how will my son go? How will my son go? How will my son walk? How will my son talk? That is, it's what we call it is, it's for sure. You cannot wish it away. Person has developed, yes, it is going to be there. But beyond that, or besides that, what else a child can do? It's the parents' responsibilities to do that exploring work. You need to find out what will work for him and what will not work for him, kind of stuff, till he comes to that level of taking a control of himself. I'll say spend some time exploring those areas, and work on what he can perform. Don't keep excel on the top of your mind. I want my son to excel at it, I want my daughter to excel at it. Just think in terms of, I want my son to perform in this, I want my daughter to perform in this. If you have the word excel on top of your mind, you're going to be a failure. The child may fail not because of his ability to perform, but because of our inability to understand them. That's how the child may fail. The child may be too young to understand the value of believe in yourself. So you continue to believe in them till such time when they start believing in themselves. That's your responsibility. Believe in them and convince them that, yes, we believe in you. We believe in you. So let them come to the level where they say, yes, I believe in myself. That is when they take the steering wheel from you and they start driving their life ahead. And second thing I would suggest is open up and talk about it. Talk about your children's difficulties or how he's facing it. There's nothing wrong in you telling that the son struggles to go to the school or he's having difficulty and all that. Open up and talk, and make your child believe that you do not see them as a burden. The moment they realize that you're holding things back, your son has told you something, I'm having a difficulty, but you aren't talking about it, then the child probably doubts that I should not have told this to them, because they haven't discussed this, they are not trying to seek help, or they're not trying to find a solution for it. So you talk, make them believe in that. And then when you hold yourself back, when you hold yourself back and you're not talking about it or discussing about it, you're, like how you said, your networking groups and support groups, you're not making any approaches there, you're giving a wrong signal to the child. The child wants it, but it is your own social image which is preventing you from going ahead and mingling. So, and the most important thing which I told my son is, be bold enough to ask for help, and be bold enough to get no for an answer. But don't ever regret that you did not ask for help. You seek help whenever needed. Network with support groups and other parent groups, or if possible. Volunteer if possible. Keep exploring. There are a lot many opportunities around for everybody to excel, not just the child. Even the family can excel in certain areas. So those are basic things which I can tell to the parents, because what works for somebody may not work for others.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So we are about to end this segment, and we would like to give you a certificate from DORAI
Oh,
Foundation. So Nimisha,
who's there? Somebody else is there or what?
yeah,
Hey,
she's
I
my
didn't.
tech support, sir.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, yeah. Where's the clapping and all that? Nothing, yeah.
So I'm just gonna
Uh,
take a screenshot for all of us.
please do
Nimisha,
that.
can you
Please
show
do that.
the certificate again? She's clapping.
Who's clapping?
Nimisha, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So are you ready? Let's
You
take a
should have,
screenshot.
I'll tell you what, next
Go
time
ahead.
around, there's that automated thing is there, no? Which gives that in cartoons and all that, they play an full clapping, it makes it look, no, the guy on the stage also feels happy. Oh, there's so many guys there, Balke. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
First,
you
let
so
me
much,
tell you,
sir.
first, let me tell a thanks to all of you. My regards and respect to Dorai Foundation, Dr. Sumitra. She's been a wonderful lady. She's been a wonderful contact of us. And like I mentioned in the thing, I always feel happy whenever I go mingle in any of their programs. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was an honor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.